commander, a quiet, sleepy-eyed young second lieutenant, and Sergeant Can, the Vietnamese team sergeant. The days passed rapidly, and on the morning of the 28th of October, Captain Versace asked if we could pay a visit to the district chief at Toi Binh, some 8 kilometers down the canal. Captain Pinault arranged with Lieutenant Ten to take 3 assault boats and a squad of strikers. The group returned with word that we'd be going on an operation early the next morning. The district chief had gotten information, Al told us, that a small enemy unit had moved into La Cour, a small hamlet about 8 kilometers to our northwest, and was establishing a command post there. The possibility that it would be used to direct attacks against us existed, and we were going to hit the village, driving out or killing the VC. We would be taking 2 of our striker companies and 1 of the militia companies from Toi Binh. The basic plan was to hit the hamlet with 1 company while the other 2 formed an ambush between the hamlet and the forest. If the VC escaped the assault and ran for the forest, they would be cut up by the ambush. The 2 companies would also have sufficient strength to fight off VC reinforcements coming from the forest. We would attack at daybreak, catching the VC as they awoke. 1st Company with Sergeant Can would go with the militia company to the ambush site. 3rd Company with Lieutenant Ten would assault. Rocky announced that he would be going and drew surprised glances from the team. MAAG advisors weren't allowed to accompany Special Forces operations, but Rocky insisted that the district chief's initiation of the operation and militia participation made it a joint operation, and he was going as an advisor to the militia. "Who else do you want with you, Nick?" Al asked. I glanced into the mess hut where Dan Pitzer, the team medical supervisor, was sitting. "You want to take the walk tomorrow, Dan?" Dan looked up. "Might as well." I stood by the doorway studying the map I'd carry with me. "I don't like this one, sir," I commented to Al, who was standing beside me. His eyes fired for a moment. "If you don't like it, stay home. I'll take the walk." I stood shocked for a second at the idea. "No sweat, it's my turn. I'll go." A strange uneasiness began to settle in my stomach and was still there the next morning when we surprised the VC in the hamlet. But instead of fleeing into the forest, the VC had elected to retreat toward the canals to the northeast, ignoring the forest and leaving our ambush useless. They were, in fact, outflanking us. Our right flank swept ahead, trying to cut the VC off. Suddenly, excited shouts came from the lead squad. All eyes snapped to the left, across a broad paddy. Black-clad figures were running along the canal bank, moving ahead of us 1 kilometer to our left. Tin stepped in behind me. "VC tried to cut us off. I must call Sergeant Can of 1st Company and inform him." "Can you get Toi Binh on the radio and request 155s?" I asked, referring to the 2 155mm howitzers located at the district capital. "We cannot reach Toi Binh. Sergeant Can will contact Toi Binh and request." Bullets were flying overhead. The range was too far away to be accurate, but they were trying to pin us long enough for a blocking force to get ahead of us and cut us off. Tin turned to me. "The company commander has gone to see if we can proceed. I have contacted Sergeant Can. 1st Company is already near camp, but they come to help us." The situation was not good, but neither was it hopeless. Lieutenant Ten's next report was grim. 1st Company has been ambushed. They are dead." "What about Camo?" I asked Ten. "We have lost contact." Well, Rowe, I thought, this is what you're here for. Advise him. "Do we have enough men to try to break the blocking force?" "I will find out, sir." Ten dashed off. I called to Rocky and Dan that we were going to make a break for the main canal. Lieutenant Ten came running over. We had enough men and could begin to withdraw. Ten had already passed the word. We decided that the 3 of us would cover the strikers as they pulled back from the perimeter. After they passed our position, they would set up and cover us as we withdrew. Shortly thereafter, the strikers appeared, walking backward, their weapons pointed toward the VC. Rocky and I began to lay down cover fire. Dan held an M79 ready. The strikers reached us and began to move out. None of them stopped. I saw more figures coming toward us and thought they were the last of the 2nd platoon. The next thing was Dan yelling, "Nick, get out of there! Those are VC!" The VC assault squads were pouring through our freshly vacated perimeter. I jerked the M1 to my shoulder and fired, then made a headlong dive for the reeds. Rocky grabbed me as I crashed into the thick growth. He sprayed the VC. Dan was ahead of us. We hadn't gone more than 5 or 10 meters when an automatic weapon fired from our right, and Rocky sagged, then dropped. "Oh, shit, no, not now."